The film you're about to watch contains riots, ruthless police tactics, and unimaginable poverty. But what sets this film apart from others that we've made is that by the time we completed it, several of the contributors had been brutally murdered.
Live from the Sky News Centre, this is Sky News with Chris Roberts.
Hello there, top story at 6. Despite international calls for calm, the situation in Kenya seems to be worsening by the hour.
Hundreds of people, including women and children, have been killed in explosive riots across Kenya.
Thousands of British holidaymakers in the country are being advised to stay indoors following widespread violence and looting.
The tribal violence broke out after Mwai Kibaki won the presidential election, a vote that many of his opponents say was rigged.
After 6 years in government, President Kibaki was expected to lose the December 2007 election. His disputed win plunged the country into violence that left 1,500 dead and 250,000 people displaced, and Kenya on the brink of civil war. Gunfire down there. We're here to investigate an organisation that comes with a fearsome reputation and is accused of being behind much of the intertribal violence. Right, get in the car, get in the car, get in the car. Okay, let's go. I'll hear firsthand about the brutal murders committed in the slums.
His head ended up there.
I will learn about the extent of their threats.
Mombasa, Eldoret, Lamu, everywhere. We'll burn these houses to hell.
And I'll be in Nairobi when they attempt to bring Kenya to a standstill. I've come to Kenya to meet a secret sect known as the Mungiki. They claim to have over 4 million members and are said to have been behind much of the post-election violence that claimed over 1,000 lives here. They're also accused of running protection rackets worth millions of shillings and of torturing and decapitating their enemies. It's 4 months since the election, and the two main political parties here are still at loggerheads over who ultimately controls this country. The political uncertainty, the corruption, and the tribal violence makes this the perfect environment for the Mungiki to thrive. The parts of the country I'm visiting bear no resemblance to the vision of safaris and tropical beaches that most people have of Kenya. Decades of corruption have kept the ruling elite enormously wealthy and the majority abysmally poor. 3/4 of the urban population live in huge lawless ghettos, and 56% of all Kenyans have to survive on less than $1 a day. It's said that the Mungiki control most of Nairobi's sprawling slums, and that is where I start my investigation. They are accused of preying on the poorest by taking over the slums and setting up huge extortion rackets and brutally stamping on anyone that challenges their rule. There are communities that live in constant fear of the Mungiki threat.
That name Mungiki.
Yeah.
That Mungiki.
What does it mean to you?
That can make you afraid. They are coming in large number. And if they reach you, they will kill you.
They could just come and slash you to death, believing that if they can kill 10 people, 100 people will be scared.
The Mungiki have a reputation for using beheadings, skinning, and dismemberment as their chosen methods of execution.
That is not just killing somebody, you know, that
torture.
is ritualistic. That is actually,
Yeah.
yes, that is torture. And I compare Mungiki to terrorists because terrorists do very grotesque things and they make the people live in dread.
The Mungiki claim to have millions of members, but it's impossible to know the exact numbers as the organisation is shrouded in secrecy. We thought gaining access to them would be difficult, but after only being in Kenya for 36 hours, we hear of a serious standoff between the Mungiki and the police. they dead?
No, they're not dead.
The Nairobi suburb of Kayole is a Mungiki stronghold. Yesterday, an angry mob laid siege to a police station holding a Mungiki suspect and forced the police to release him. Today, we get a call to say that in reprisal, hundreds of police are pouring into Kayole, clearing the streets and searching for Mungiki. You can see around us, police have just cleared the streets. People are upstairs on the rafters on the roof, all looking down. People have got guns, as you can see now, on my left. They're undercover cops, and they've got AK-47s. Interesting. Gunfire down there. The police are closing off whole areas to search for anyone they think may be connected to the outlawed organisation. They're loading people up. Well, I'm not sure whether they were the protesters or not, but they've certainly been rounded up and they've been taken off for questioning or whatever happens here. Soon the police are reinforced by the GSU, the General Service Unit. They are the government's elite riot squad. They are a scary bunch, I have to say. Something going on. Guys, draw his gun. Let's go. Got someone. Just arrested someone there. The shot's going off. This has all resulted of the Mungiki guy being released. The police have come back with a vengeance.
Just kill me. Let them kill me. Let them kill me. Don't. Kill me. Kill me. Yeah, kill me.
These guys have got dreads. They've got classic Mungiki haircuts. A lot of them shave them off nowadays. Rocks are being thrown, look. Rocks. Over there, just land. You right? You right? Yeah, it's all right, it's all right. Just out of nowhere, a load of people started throwing stones down this alleyway. No, wait. There's tear gas, actually. Smell it? After yesterday's humiliation, the police are keen to reassert their authority. This lot turned up in force. It smacks off to me as just simple retaliation. You know, one Mungiki was released yesterday. They've come back in here to show who's boss, and they've certainly done that. I'm in Kenya, just weeks after some of the worst violence the country has ever seen. I'm trying to meet the Mungiki, a secretive sect said to be behind much of the recent bloodshed. The majority of the Mungiki are from the Kikuyu tribe, and beheading their enemies is a tribal tradition.
From the Cathedral of the Highlands in Nairobi are born the bodies of Mr. and Mrs. Roger Ruck and their 6-year-old son, Michael, a British family brutally murdered by the Mau Mau.
The Mau Mau used decapitation as a fear tactic against the British in the 1950s during their struggle for independence. And it's said the Mungiki have copied the terror tactics of their Kikuyu ancestors. Yesterday I watched the police round up suspects in a Mungiki-controlled area. Word has obviously got around that we're here because today I get a call. When we first arrived here, we had no idea how much access we'd get to a secret organisation like the Mungiki. Our best hopes that we get to speak to foot soldiers. Well, out of the blue, we've been offered an interview with the 3 top members of the Mungiki. Going to a location some way out of Nairobi, and obviously we're a little bit worried about what's going to happen when we get there. They want to meet at the deserted home of their imprisoned founder, Maina Njenga, currently serving 5 years for the possession of drugs and firearms. The Mungiki claim it was a setup by the authorities. We've clearly been observed on our approach to the house, and now I'm left waiting for the Mungiki leaders for what seems like an eternity. Good afternoon. Hi, Ross Kemp, pleased to meet you.
Hello, gentlemen.
Pleased to meet you, Ross Kemp. How are you? How are you? Pleased to meet you. How are you? You well? Thank you for agreeing to meet us. You know about the publicity that you're given. We've heard that you cut people's heads off, that you skin people's skulls, that you dismember their bodies and leave them in different areas. How do you answer those accusations?
They are all very good fabrications from the state machinery, especially during the Kibaki era. Before that, there was not a lot of negative propaganda. After they saw the growth of the movement, they started bringing in fear in between, okay? And what they did first is they started attacking our members, killing them.
This is the police, the government?
This is the police. They took 2 people. There were 2 people, in fact. They killed one, they beheaded one, placed his head somewhere in Nairobi.
So you were accused of the beheadings that you say they committed?
And at least we can say the fear that the government propagated has really worked. But it's not us who do anything.
The Mungiki originated as a spiritual group in the 1980s around the prophecies of their charismatic leader, Maina Njenga. He encouraged a return to a more fundamental Kikuyu way of life. The word Mungiki means multitude, and by 2002, they were 1 million strong. And the sheer weight of numbers meant that the Mungiki became a political force and a political threat. They were criminalised by the government in 2003, and at this point, their objectives changed. They started taking control of the slums, and it's here that they are reputed to extort millions and rule with an iron fist. You, as an organisation, control or run a lot of the slums, is that true?
True, very true.
But there must have been gangs inside those slums that weren't happy about you turning up.
We changed those rude boys. We first changed those people.
And how did you persuade him?
No, give him reality. Give him reality and give him hope.
But if he probably only understands violence, how do you deal with someone that only understands violence?
The first change is his mental perspective to life. He should not just be violence, you know? He should think about his future.
The original philosophy of the movement is one of unity, self-sacrifice, and power in numbers. The Kikuyu are Kenya's biggest tribe, and the Mungiki are seen as the group that stands up for the ordinary rank-and-file Kikuyu. Members can be identified by their continual use of snuff, but as a group, they are strenuously opposed to drugs and alcohol and all symbols of Western decadence. Is it right that you levy taxes on the people inside the slums?
No, we assist one another. We don't levy taxes.
Can you explain to me the difference?
They all know that we all have a sort of like a common problem. You know, the poverty is common all through. So they'll need sort of like something like a welfare system that the government did not create for them. So the people create for themselves.
And you organise that?
Yes, we help them in the organization.
The youth of this country have been reduced to almost nothing. We have a lot of problems everywhere.
Well, corruption seems to be endemic inside this country.
Corruption is everywhere.
Yeah, Kenya is not yet free. A country of 10 millionaires and 10 million poor people.
Just came out of my meeting with the Mungiki, and I have to say I'm probably more confused now than when I went in there. I've been led to believe that they were extortionists, that they killed people, cut their heads off. But nearly every question that I laid at their feet, they seem to have a pretty convincing answer. I still don't believe that they're the saints they paint themselves to be. They can't be. You know, that old saying, there's no smoke without fire. It looks like we're going to have to ask a lot more questions until we find out exactly what's going on here. One thing I do know about Kenya is the huge gap between the rich and the poor. Ever since Kenya won its independence from the British, the wealth and power of the nation has been divided up between a small group of the political elite, leaving the vast majority of the population in abject poverty. Perhaps this explains the rapid rise of the Mungiki, who claim to represent the millions who feel they have been ignored by successive governments. The next day, I get another call from the Mungiki leaders. The Mungiki hierarchy have invited us into one of the communities that they control to show us the good works that they do. This is Dandora, one of the most toxic places on Earth. It's the landfill site for the city of Nairobi. Since we arrived here, people have been coming up to us in droves telling us how much the area has changed since the Mungiki took over. There used to be gangs that would basically take money off the people that work the tips here. Since the Mungiki arrived, those gangs have been moved off. They have protection and they're looked after. I have to say, to me, it looks like hell on earth. The Dandora dump may well be hell on earth, but thousands of people manage to scrape a living by sifting through the rotting waste in 40-degree heat. Stephen, can you tell me a little bit about how you managed to take control of this area?
It's quite a lot of work that has been doing consistently for a long time. We started with one person, you go recruiting the other, talking to them, you teach them about to stop bad behaviors.
How can you recruit someone who is in charge of that area if he's the gang guy that controls the area?
First of all, you know, within the message that you are preaching, there is a divine core. So some things just happens miraculously, unless you are...
Well, it was a miracle.
You consider it like a miracle, because if at all...
I find that hard to believe. I'm a cynic, though.
You are a cynic. Then let's say it's a lot of work that is being that is being done with the help of the community, and within the people who surround them.
The Mungiki take me deeper into the vast dump to explain to me how they run the site. How does the finance work then? How does the money be collected? So, just say this is sold.
Like this one now, like this one, 1 kilo is 13 shillings.
1 kilo is 1 kilo of plastic is 10 shillings.
It's 10 shillings. So if you have 1,000 kilograms, then
you have more shillings.
You have more shillings, and within the whole Kenya, we collect 55,000 tons of plastics daily. So if you manage to collect half, then that's a lot of money.
People here earn around 50 pence for a full day's work. I want to understand about how the actual community is run and how you police it and organize it.
We organize people into cells, and one cell is a cell of 10 people, and every group give to the other group, so they help one another.
Yeah, but there is a security inside that, and that comes from you guys, yeah?
Yeah.
Stephen has set up a meeting with a group of Mungiki converts. So everyone here is a Mungiki member, yeah? Why do the press continuously say that Mungiki are responsible for decapitations and killing people?
When you write an article about Mungiki, you will sell well, let me tell you, in the Kenyan newspaper. There won't be a copy that won't be bought. People want to know more about Mungiki. Mungiki is a mystery to Kenyans themselves.
So all those stories, all the things in the newspaper...
In December, the government was killing youths around this place. They formed this unit...
Is that true?
Yeah. Yeah. Kwekwe, no to erogano wa kwekwe.
For nothing in fact.
They just kill people
Just
indiscriminately.
for believing, you know, for being members of Mungiki, you are taken, you are slaughtered. You know, that's what they do. The government does engage into mafia tactical activities. The government is an organized gang.
But that's what they say. That's what they accuse the Mungiki of being. Organized crime. That's what they say.
I came to disagree with that. We have come to believe that the government is killing us. They are fighting us. They are crushing us because of fear.
And why are they scared?
It has come a situation whereby the most neglected people in the society, they have now started arising and realizing that togetherness, they can do something.
Mungiki offer the people here security, food, somewhere to live, and most importantly, hope. I have to say, most of the people that were doing the talking were well dressed and in suits, and most of the people doing the listening were the workers. Though the ones that I did speak to seemed honestly happy with having the Mungiki as their masters rather than their past masters, who were the government and the gangs. I've heard so many half-truths and rumours that I'm desperate to meet someone who will speak objectively about what's really going on. I've arranged a meeting with the chairman of the Kenyan National Commission on Human Rights, Maina Kaye.
In this country, there are really just two tribes, the rich and the poor.
That disparity between haves and have-nots, which is so great here.
Absolutely.
No one has ever catered for that, the have-nots.
No, nobody has. Government and politicians talk the talk, they never walk it.
This Mungiki, this organisation, offers hope where there is none.
They also not only just hope, they also offer jobs.
Yeah.
Because they give unemployed people
Dandora,
something to do. Absolutely. They give people who are not employed, who can't get employment, have something to do.
One thing they've said to us, that they're not responsible for any of the beheadings that you see in the press. They say it was down to the Kwekwe, the secret police.
I mean, I don't know. There's no evidence to pinpoint Mungiki for the beheadings, although that's the common assumption that's made in this country. The other thing that's happened with Mungiki, as soon as became a reviled group in the country, then almost every single major criminal activity, the police would say it's Mungiki. So you'd find even non-Mungiki people extorting on the basis that they are Mungiki, even though they're not Mungiki. So Mungiki became...
And when they're a secret organisation, it's easy to say, I'm one, or I'm not one.
Absolutely.
What about this thing about the Kwekwe? Do these secret policemen exist that go around killing people?
Oh, absolutely. Yes, they do.
Death squads here?
Oh, yes, they are. I mean, last year, we documented at this commission about 500 bodies that had been found dead, and they'd all been shot. Just the other day, I got a policeman coming to see me, telling me about a new squad that's been formed that's killing people. But this time, they're not shooting. This time they're hanging, or they cut you off with a machete. And so they're moving away now from the shootings, because the shootings point easily towards the police.
This is turning out to be a very different film from the film that I think we all thought we were going to make when we first arrived here. We came here to look at a sect come gang called the Mungiki. And we were told that they, regularly behead people, that they are vicious. And I don't know even at this moment whether that's true or not. When I met the leaders, they were a slick outfit. They were very convincing. Every question I asked them in terms of the murdering, of the beheadings, they all said that they were, plots by the government to destabilise them as an organisation. One thing's for sure, they are highly organised. What they've done is something that this government seems to have failed to have done, which is galvanised the poor here. I'm sure also they take money off them, undoubtedly, to support their organisation and to feather their own pockets. I can't prove that, but that's what I suspect. This country has that classic dilemma of, a few people ultimately controlling everything. And the poverty is just shocking. I think we're at a very important time in modern Kenya's history in terms of, this place doesn't seem very far away from a revolution of some kind. I've come to Kenya to uncover an organisation called the Mungiki. They stand accused of horrific violence and massive extortion. I'm here at a time when the country is still reeling from the tribal violence sparked by the recent general election. The ruling president, President Kibaki, is from the Kikuyu tribe, and when he appeared to steal the election from the opposition, it was the catalyst for all of Kenya's tribes to rise up against the Kikuyu and settle old scores. Overnight, people were burnt out of their homes and hundreds were murdered. The violence claimed the lives of over 1,000 men, women and children and left 250,000 people homeless.
What we have seen actually defies description. We can only describe it as genocide.
I'm driving to Eldoret in the Rift Valley, a town that witnessed much of the post-election violence. At the height of the Troubles, it was reported that armed Mungiki were being bussed into the area and used as a militia to defend the Kikuyu people.
Matthews, can you tell me exactly what happened here after the election?
Immediately after the results were announced, there was an abrupt eruption of violence.
Yeah.
We saw people being chopped off the heads.
Beheaded? You actually saw that happening,
yes.
yeah?
They were hacking each other.
Kikuyu...
This happened even outside my own house where I stay.
Outside your own house?
Yes.
One of the accusations that we've heard is that the Mungiki were driven in here and told people, we're coming in tomorrow. If you're not gone, we're going to kill you. Have you ever heard anything?
Yeah, there were those complaints from the local community that they had seen people being brought in using lorries from the other direction, Nairobi direction.
Yeah.
And these people were heavily armed.
But were these people Mungiki or were they just Kikuyu tribesmen?
Okay, most of them were Kikuyu tribesmen, but it is believed that some of them were Mungiki indeed, considering the kind of killings which were witnessed, like the chopping off of heads of people, chopping off of private parts.
Private parts, yeah?
Yes, and displaying them publicly.
Yeah.
Once again, there appears to be plenty of rumours implicating the Mungiki in violence, but very little concrete evidence. The fact is that hundreds of people were killed and thousands driven out of areas that have been their homes for decades.
This is Eldoret Showground. Since the post-election violence, it's become an internally displaced persons camp. There are over 150 similar camps like this one in Kenya, home to some of the 300,000 displaced people. And it just goes on forever. How many people are actually living here?
Here in Eldoret Showground, we have more than 15,000 people.
15,000 people?
Yeah.
And they're all Kikuyu, yeah?
Most of the communities that have been affected are Kikuyus.
The government has assured the people here that it is safe to return home. However, they are too frightened to leave the security of the IDP camp. After leaving Eldoret, we return to Nairobi. But on arrival, we hear some grim news.
Yesterday at 3 p.m, Minor Njenga's wife, bear in mind Minor's the head of the Mungiki, Minor Njenga's wife and a driver were abducted. The driver managed to get a call out to his cousin, and the last thing that was heard from them was the driver pleading for his life.
I met Virginia briefly 10 days ago, and it's chilling to think that she's now gone missing. Another woman who is high up in the Mungiki is Florence. At one time, she was the most wanted woman in Kenya. I'm on my way to meet her at a secret location in Nairobi. Before joining the Mungiki, she was a prostitute for 15 years.
Can you tell me actually what you do?
I'm a coordinator of women.
Do you target prostitutes?
Yeah, yeah. I do tell them, I was like you one day. I was smoking a very much bangi.
Yeah, a lot of marijuana, yeah?
Very much.
And
I've been jailed because of robbery. I was even slaughtering girls.
you were slaughtering?
Yeah, I was a bad girl. Yeah.
You killed people?
Yeah. I was brewing changa.
Very strong alcohol.
Yeah, I was selling to people. And if you don't pay me, I was taking with a glass and slaughter. I can do everything to you. So everybody was fearing me in Kayole, Soweto.
What about the claims that, you know, some of the girls that join have female circumcision? Is that true?
Yes, of course.
Some of the allegations we heard were that people were locked up and basically forced to have circumcision.
Not forced.
Right.
No.
Okay.
It's your wish. Like now, April, there is 20 girls.
20 girls?
Yeah, and they'll come to my house.
How do you do it?
Yeah, there is an old woman. She will come with a knife, and then I'll take the legs of the girl, and then I'll cover the neck like this. Please, please, please. Hold on. And then the mama will just cut. Just a small thing. Just a very small thing.
Some people might disagree with you that it's a small thing. But,
It's a very small thing.
Doesn't that mean that by taking away that very small thing, that she won't be able to enjoy sex in the future?
That's lies. To be circumcised is a good thing because I can stay about 3 years without a man and I can survive. But uncircumcised girls can't stay because when that thing stands like this, you feel you want a man. You can be fucked by everybody, even dogs.
Miner's wife disappeared yesterday, didn't she?
The day after yesterday.
What happened?
Even now, I'm just here, I'm feeling, my blood is telling me they are dead. My blood is telling me.
You think that they're
Yes,
dead?
I'm feeling.
Who do you think's responsible for taking them away?
This Kwekwe squad.
Kwekwe?
Yeah.
The secret police?
Yeah. They want us to feel pain so that we can leave Mungiki.
What would happen if someone killed Miner?
This Kenya will be bloodshed. Will revenge the whole world. Mombasa, Eldoret, Lamu, everywhere will burn these houses to hell. And I'll be in front.
When you meet people with that kind of passion inside them, it's easy to see how that quickly can overspill into violence. I think when you've got people in an organisation like that who are, to all intents and purposes, brainwashed, I think that makes the organisation very scary. Miner Njenga's wife and her driver both went missing 2 days ago. We've just received a phone call from a leading member of the Mungiki to say that 2 bodies answering their description have turned up in the morgue. We're on our way there to find out if it's them. Florence's prediction has become all too true. As we arrive at the mortuary, her family and the Mungiki leaders are too stunned to talk. However, a relation of one of the dead told me all he knew.
These people were tortured a lot because the bodies have got deep panga cuts. The hands, they are tied up, the legs were tied up. And we are not seeing it as if it's just some ordinary criminal doing that. We are seeing as if maybe there was some information some people were trying to retrieve from these people. That's why they were torturing them.
Do you have any idea who those people might have been?
Well, we don't want to speculate because it's too early. We don't want to speculate about it. Whoever is behind this is inhuman. It's inhuman. Whatever those people could have done. I mean, you just don't do things like that.
Thank you very much for your time. I'm sorry for you and your family. Two days later, Kenya awoke to the backlash. The Mungiki took to the streets, setting fire to vehicles and blocking roads. It wasn't long before Nairobi was at a standstill, and we were caught in the middle of it.
What's happening, boys? What's happening?
As we attempt to avoid the traffic jams, we turn down a slip road and run straight into the path of an angry mob.
There's a crowd there, and they're not fucking around, and they are upset.
The natural instinct is to turn and run, but as the mob get closer, I sense we're not the focus of their aggression. Hedging our bets, we decide to stand our ground.
As you can see, it's demonstration. Boys, listen to me. You're complaining because Njenga's wife was killed, yes?
Yeah. And we want him free.
Yeah. You want Njenga free, yeah?
We want them free.
You know, they are innocent citizens.
But you guys claim to be Mungiki, yeah?
Yeah. One of them.
Yeah.
No more killing.
No more killing.
No more killing. No more killing.
We want them to tell us.
No minor, no peace. No minor. No minor.
There is no peace in Kenya. Okay. Kill wife. There is no minor, no freedom.
Why are they torturing us?
Well, as you can see, tension is very high here. You know, they're very upset. The Mungiki have closed off Nairobi.
The Mungiki mob move up the road, and we follow.
There are gangs of young Mungiki over to our left, demonstrating. The police are moving away, taking the keys out of the vehicles and blocking the road. There's petrol going down on the tyre right in front of me.
As the crowd grows, they're keen to express their opinions.
Why is the government killing us like dogs?
Yeah,
they kill Kenya.
They kill.
Who do you think? Sorry. Who do you think was responsible for his wife's murder?
Yes, the government. The government. Listen. They used to the government to arrest us. And when they arrest us, when they take you to the police post, they kill you, hanging, murder. What have you done?
Thank you.
As the mob becomes more confident, they begin to chant Mungiki songs.
Right, watch out. Right, they could their round. Sorry, the police have just turned up. They're firing rounds, tear gas.
The mob scatters, well aware of the force the police will use to stop the protest.
Locked and loaded, right? The police are arming themselves now. He's just locked and loaded his weapon.
If you have nothing to do here, go home. Go to your houses. Go home now. Kenya is a welcome nation. We go back to our duties. Go back to your duties because Kenya is a welcome nation. Kenya is a welcome nation. We go back to our duties.
The police stopped the protest without casualties on either side. But in similar incidents all over Kenya, 20 Mungiki protesters were shot by the police as they attempted to quell the riots.
I can assure you we shall respond so firmly that the criminals involved will have cause to regret if any of them survives the peace.
I've only 48 hours left in the country. The Mungiki leaders are in hiding and in fear of their lives, but they have agreed to one last meeting.
My concerns are that there are many, many decent people in your organisation, but there are also criminals inside your organisation. I think we can clear this up very quickly with one simple question. Do you use violence as part of achieving your ultimate goal?
No. No.
How much danger are you two personally in at the moment as leaders of the organisation?
Personally, I am at the fear of being killed any moment. Maybe I may die even 20 minutes from now. If we were to disappear, do not look for us, just know we're dead.
The Mungiki leaders have promised further civil unrest until they get justice. To find out how the police intend to deal with any future threat from the Mungiki, we've arranged to meet with the official police spokesman.
Minor Njenga's wife, we've heard varying accounts. One accusation that was levelled by the Mungiki in the press yesterday was that the police were responsible for a death. Can you enlighten us as to what you believe actually happened?
Well, Mungiki has also created sects, especially after it had to go completely underground last year. And one sect could be responsible, and they are diverting attention from themselves.
How are you going to deal with them if they keep setting fire to things, causing roadblocks?
We are on their trail, and no criminal escapes for too long in this country.
Since coming here, one thing I've learned is nothing is as straightforward as it first appears. In a country with mass poverty and endemic corruption, the Mungiki appear to offer something where there is nothing. We've heard many accusations for and against them, and no way of proving or disproving them. And despite countless efforts by self-serving governments to wipe them out, they appear to be growing stronger. Whether the Mungiki use that power for their own gain or the good of the people, I have no idea. But one thing is for certain, the people here are prepared to sacrifice their own lives for the chance of something better.
Two weeks after I leave, the acting leader of the Mungiki, Charles Ndungu, was ambushed. He died instantly as a result of 17 gunshot wounds. As Kenya struggles to come to terms with the post-election violence, 250,000 Kenyans are still living in makeshift camps, and nearly 20 million still exist on $1 a day.